All right, y'all. I don't know what happened. I thought I had turned it this way, but it's all good. Um, Back out here again. I'm Barak Tazar, Barakate How, Barakate How Shop. Before I begin, I'm gonna say, going to the east. Kahalo Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Bradash, Shalom, and salutations and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who I continue to learn this 100% truth. Shalom to the elder bishops out of Connecticut, who I also continue to learn this 100% truth from. Shalom to the elders, the prophets, and the teachers and the evangelists. Um, the confused face, the Akim and Aqua, the Akim on the highways and byways doing his work, and that's not least the elect, Yahweh Shem Shabbat Rakatham Shalom. And just very grateful and thankful I'm out here for another week to be out here doing this work, praising and praising and glory, bringing sending all thanks to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for allowing me to be out here. I didn't have a heading or a title. I was gonna kind of just let the spirit. What the hell is that? Kind of let the spirit kind of guide me. And there's some things I just want to speak about. Normally, I use my when I am recording, I use my main phone to do the recording, and I operate off of my other phone. But today, I got my tablet out to record, and I got my main phone out. So it's a lot of information that I had on my main phone, which made me decide to use so I could use my main phone to give you edification through scripture, and to also get some news. So one of the reasons I did that is because on my phone I have a app called Newsbreak, and it says, which I found interesting, was Trump is no longer, Trump quote, basically quoting, it's no longer free speech. So I wanted to kind of tap into that and see what that was about, where it says it's no longer free speech. So this is by Politico. It's the app called Political, and it says that President Trump, Donald Trump, speaks with reporters in the Oval Office of the White House Friday, and I'm going to read some of the article to you. It said, Presidential Donald Trump on Friday reiterated, I hope I'm still saying that right, his claim that critical television coverage of him is illegal. You hear that? And pushed back on criticism that his administration was taking actions that chill free speech. So the whole situation that happened with Jimmy Kimmel show, if I'm saying that right, that's an act of killing free speech, and is really directed towards us, the Israelites, especially the brothers out there in highways and byways, and also doing these videos. So they're going to direct that towards those men, and they're going to shut down or they're going to start prosecuting. So look soon to hear about these things within weeks of, even though Jimmy Kimmel got canceled, because what they do is, just like, remember a couple of years ago, some years ago, when Trump got banned from Twitter, that was also a beginning of killing freedom of speech. Even though I think they allowed him to get back on Twitter, when they do it to themselves, they damn for sure don't have no problem doing it to you. Just kind of similar to what the judgments are from your First Peter 4:16, that judgment is going to go out to the house of Israel. It's also just imagine what is going to happen to the heathens with these judgments because of the sins. You know what I'm saying? So things are about to really get real bad out here. And again, man, I know I sound like a broken record saying that, but that's exactly the things that are going to happen. Let me continue to read. Got to be circumspect too, you know. When 97% of the stories are bad about a person, it's no longer free speech, Trump told reporters. Even if it's the truth, right? Um, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office complaining about an apparent uh, asymmetry between his victory in 2024 election and his treatment by media organizations. It was not immediately clear what statistics or laws he was referencing. Trump's comments came days after Disney indefinitely suspended the late night show host Jimmy Kimmel, after Federal Communications Commissioner Brendan Carr suggested on a podcast that his agency may take regulatory action against ABC, which Disney owns. Kimmel drew ire over comments he made about Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist and White House ally who was shot and killed last week. So, you know, they're using Captain Kirk as a standard on killing free speech. This is how, you know, in so many ways, we're not ignorant to Esau's devices, the devil's devices, Satan's devices. So you see how he uses certain events to bring out his true intentions. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it's showing you, is that he used that to solidify the position of. Now it's not in stone yet. It's not written down yet, but it's about to take full effect. So, you know, we gotta what? I would say, man, 2026 is definitely going to be Abarak Dazar, that year that everything happens that is supposed to happen. You know what I mean? It's the last of these prophecies. WW3, MOTB, you know what I'm saying? NWO, all these things that are supposed to happen are going to happen. You know, naturally, Jacob's trouble, Isaiah 4:1, all these things are going to happen within the time period of next year coming up. I truly think that's the plan that the elites are giving to their flunkies to get ready to display. And things are going to get rough, man. And, you know, we know that a lot of these benefits and such and so are going to be taken away just like that. Medical benefits, economic benefits, social benefits, all kinds of different things that aided the so-called American people, Jake and Edomites, are going to be taken away. And it reads, continue, after Kimmel was suspended, Carr said, I don't think this is the last show to drop, and suggested that the FCC, an agency overseen by Congress designated to act independently from the president, may target other shows, including ABC's The View, because they're very opinionated over there as well. You know what I mean? That's those women over there, man. Those chicks is crazy over there. They be saying all kind of crazy things, you know what I mean? So, I can see that happening. The Kimmel saga caused Democrats and some free speech hawks to protest. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer demanded Carr's resignation. One notable Republican also weighed in, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, who on a podcast released Friday called Carr's actions dangerous as hell and right out of Goodfellas. So now these Edomites are going at each other and going towards each other, man. They talking crazy to each other. And like Yahweh Shah said, a nation divided can't stand. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. I believe it's Matthew 24. Let me see. I gotta make sure I'm wording it right. Let's see that word. I know it's in Matthew. Matthew 24 and 7, and it reads, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. That's not exactly what I wanted. It's not a bad scripture, but it's not what I wanted. Let's see. Maybe he said it in Revelation. Let's see here. What's the scripture where it says nation against nation cannot stand? There we go. Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So this is what Esau is showing you, this back and forth within their own community of people. You got your left wing, your right right wing, and you got your conservative Edomites, and you got your Republican Edomites, you got your Democratic Edomites, and they're all battling one another. Shalakia. That wind is blowing, baby. And they're all battling one another, man. They're all against one another. Let's see, it's a lot going on, man, and it's a lot in the news. And I'm just trying to cover some of it. And Trump just he stay in the news. You gotta understand, man, that things are about to happen that's never happened on this earth before. Situations are about to take place that has never taken place before. And things are going to be in such a chaotic lifestyle that, there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be no more going out to go party and going on vacations and all of these things that, you Jakes and you Edomites are into, thinking that everything's going to work out. It's not going to work out. So what they're also doing is reports are not coming out like they used to. So they don't want the world to know the things that are happening and how it's troubling America They don't want you to keep information. They don't want you to keep up with numbers and do census on situations that's happening in America. So this one is talking about, this is a business. After cuts to food stamps, Trump administration ends government's annual report on hunger in America. So now they don't want you to know about the things that they had mentioned months ago, weeks ago, to stop Americans from prospering or to get free things from the government. They're going to take it all away. And you know what this is all leading up to? It's all leading up to the MOTB, because after they take it away from you, you're going to beg them to give it back, and then they're going to have an answer for it. They're going to tell you to take that MOTB. And now you other, some of you other Israelite camps who's been going against the elder apostles on down of GMS about Revelation 13 and 16, now you're trying to wiggle your way and swindle your way into acting like you know or you see, and so you can teach it. And you know, we know that the Spirit hasn't been on you to teach this, teach these scriptures the 100% true. You know what I'm saying? You just had, you had the right idea, but you just was going about it the wrong way. And now, because you're so prideful, you know what I'm saying? You want to act like you on top of things, and you're not circumspect. The Spirit is definitely not on you. Man, I constantly see Jake passing by. They ignore. They don't say nothing. More Northern Kingdom than Southern Kingdom. You know, Southern Kingdom will stop and talk, but Northern Kingdom, you know, this is why, again, I put the flags up here. So they can, like, okay, so what are you representing? Because I see my country on here. But they just ignore, man. They keep it moving. But we understand, too, that, you know, ICE got a lot of things happening out here, man. The Trump administration, this is from the business, the Associated Press. So, the Trump administration is ending the federal government's annual report on hunger in America, stating that it had become overly politicized and rife with inaccuracies. So, the government is putting out inaccurate information about the cuts of food stamps. Is that important? Yes, it is important. They're showing you in your face that we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and you're not going to do nothing about it. And I see on TikTok too, man, a lot of you cats get on TikTok and you talking about we need to unite, we need to get together and work together and help one another. And I even heard on the street some people, you know, because I talk to people on the street sometimes, you know, when I'm not, you know, out just teaching, you know, I'll speak about certain things. And everybody talking, you know, Jason talking about uniting, you know, Northern Tribe and Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. And I quickly just, it's not going to happen. Not like that. They've been trying to do that, and it hasn't happened. So it's a simple situation of you either gonna understand who you are here and go and do the work, follow the law, statutes, commandments, and fear Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, or get down with the 2/3 and do what they do, because that's what they do, you know. You know, it's either or, man. You can't serve two masters, man. James 1:8. But here's another one. It's Yahweh Shai right here. It's Matthew 12:33. Either make the tree good and his fruits good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruits. And this is what we got going on, man. Yahweh Shai is separating who his elect is versus who his 2/3 is, and also separating out of the heathen nations his elect and also his 2/3. Yahweh Shai is separating everything so therefore judgment can go out the proper way. Proverbs 12:14. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. So we're in that time now where we can tell you we don't know who the hopeful elect are, but we have a better idea of who the 2/3 are. And that's not even guaranteed, because you can assume someone to be a 2/3, and the Yahweh Shai can bring them through the fire and they be part of the hopeful elect. Or you can assume someone's a heathen because they may look like the heathen nations, not realizing that they Israel. And they could possibly be even, they can even be possible a hopeful elect of Israel. So it may be an Edomite looking, I don't even like to use, but I mean, it's being in the spirit of it. It may be an Edomite looking man who could be possibly an Israelite and possibly part of the hopeful elect. How about that? So if you seen if you seen the Edomite being beamed up by the chariot, and you like, hold up, that don't make sense. No, it does make sense. You just had a stumbling block. That man's an Israelite, and he's an hopeful elect. Salakia, man, I went to bed a little late last night and tried to get up so I can get out a little early. Luke 13:6. He spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and came out and sought fruit thereon, and found none. So what does that mean? Let's get it in the NLT. Salakia, man, please forgive me. So this is Luke 13:6 in the NLT, and it reads, Yahweh Shai told the story. A man planted a fig tree in his garden and came again and again to see if there was any fruit on it, but he was always disappointed. Finally, he said to his gardener, I've waited 3 years and there hasn't been a single fig. Cut it down. It's just taking up space in the garden. The gardener answered, Sir, give it once more chance. Leave it another year, and I'll give it special attention and plenty of fertilizer. So, who's the man with the good fruit? Who's the man with the bad fruit in that scripture? The gardener is the man with the good fruit. He's going to give it fertilizer. He's going to feed it the right things for it to blossom into good fruit, versus the owner of the tree who gave it nothing and just planted it and expected it to just to give him everything. That's bad fruit, because he got nothing out of it. That was the parable of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai explaining to you the difference. Yeah, man, your fruits, man. Yeah, man, too much yawning, man. Ephesians 5:9. For the fruit of spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. So That's how you can tell the difference between good fruit and bad fruit, by what comes out of a man's mouth and his actions. And a lot of these cats' actions are actually abominable, man. And we're in that age where you're going to see hardcore truth, brutal truth, and you're going to see, because the truth is going to bring out what is false and what is fake, what is wrong, what is bad. Righteousness will display evil. You know what I'm saying? Evil will hide righteousness, if that makes any sense. Because evil doesn't want you to know, like in the days of Adam and Eve, that that subtile serpent man, I'm gonna say it like it is, he used evil to hide righteousness when he was dealing with Eve. And Eve is so easily to be distracted and to be dismayed, and to because they love glitter, glamour, and gold, and attention, you know. So he used that, knowing that he can, take advantage of Eve. This is why Yahweh Shai doesn't deal with women like that. No shade or anything, and I really don't give a damn how you feel about it, but it's the truth. The truth is going to always outshine the evil. But Yahweh Shai doesn't deal with women in that way. Just like we servants to Yahweh Shai, why Yahweh Shai, the women are servants to the men. And that's in all nations. You are made to be servants to your men. That's how it was set up. Who are you to go against the grain and go against Yahweh Shai? Now, we do understand that there are many who do that, but look at the world today, and decided to go against Yahweh Shai. Look at our women today on this board who decided to go against Yahweh Shai. When you really look into their lives and look into their outside looking in, you can tell a lot of them are have two-third mentalities. And it's what it is they put spirits on them. That's why they crazy the way they be crazy, man, because there's a lot of spirits on them to act the way they act, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. Hey, check it out. Deuteronomy 22:5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. And because our women today, think about it, right? Use your common sense here. Let's start with the man, right? The man, he goes out in public wearing a woman's garment. He wants to wear a dress. He wants to wear high heels. He wants to put on lipstick and makeup. He wants to put on wigs, wear nails, and his feet is bigger than the mother flower, right? You can see the jawbone, the Adam's apple, the muscular tone, and he's trying to be a feminine woman. That's crazy. But what happens is it puts on a spirit of wickedness of them to think and act and carry themselves like that. And it's vice versa for women. So I remember in the 60s, I believe, because before the 60s, you can Google search it, however, but before the 60s, women did not wear pants. Women wore dresses. Doesn't matter what kind of formal gathering that was happening, public or private, women wore dresses. When that feminism in the 60s came out, so a lot of things that happened in the 60s was just, so just imagine, that's how my mind thinking right now. Imagine June 6, 1966. Think of those numbers, right? You know a lot of evil was happening in that time frame, right? So again, just something to throw at you. But again, you when you analyze it, the women, they started to take on a spirit of being the man. You seen the posters and the pictures. I think it was there's a famous picture of a woman putting her arm out. She has like a do-rag on her head, and she got her arm stuck out like this, like you know how men like to be the macho man. And you know, these are the types of things that became it's almost in a sense it's idolizing. They seen these things thinking that I want to be like that. I can do what a man can do. And then that's the campaign that they pitched. They started going to all around the world, really, pitching I can do what a man can do. So now they ushered in pants to these women. And guess what it did? It gave them a wicked spirit of thinking they can be men. To this day, we have gotten down to it, down to the wire. Our women are so confused and so gone. They think that they can do a lot of different things that men can do, and one of them is sleeping with many different men. And still being respected as a woman. It's just an abominable situation. I didn't want to stay too long on that situation, but I'll finish out Deuteronomy 25. I'll start from the top again. The woman shall not wear that which pertains unto the man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy power. So, you know, it's just something that Esau has done to go against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Let me see something. Adversary unto me. This is Psalms 74:10, and it reads, O my power, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? You're coming into the end of that, man. Lamentations 1:10. The adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she hath seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. So the adversary are these heathen nations, starting with Esau. Because it jumped in my head, I'm going to just get it. And they have been going against Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's people. Now the thing is, they made you think that you wasn't the most highest people. But they were attacking you, and you couldn't understand why. Because they're adversaries to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. They are enemies to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Here's your enemies. Listen up, listen good. Psalms 83:2. I'm going to start at 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They became very proud in keeping you down. They have taken crafty counsel against thee, thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, Esau's the first one that comes up. Tabernacles means house. And the Ishmaelites, that's the Arabs. They're your enemies. They hate you too. The Moab of Moab, that's the Chinese. They hate you. The Hagarenes, those are Hamites, the Africans. Gebal and Ammon and Amalek. Gebal is also Edomites. Ammon is the Japanese. Amalek is the top house of Esau, which is the wool humpers, right? The Philistines are also the Hamites with the inhabitants of Tyre. So all these people hate you on this board, and they all know that even though they don't get along with one another, and that Esau even rules over everybody, they have made an agreement with their forefathers to stop bickering with one another and to keep you down. Let's get another scripture. Let's see here. It's Joel 3:2, and it reads, I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh's judgment, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to bring them into the land of Jehoshaphat, which is Megiddo. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see something. Show me an image of the land of Megiddo. So it's a land. Check that out. It's a land for a lot of you can see for yourself. It's a land built for battlefield. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? So it's a land for a fight for the battle. And he's going to gather all nations there. And there, which is in Israel, well, I thought it was like Eurasia, but it's actually in Israel. So also, again, the scriptures never lie. So everybody's going to gather up in Israel for a final fight. Because guess what? The least of them would draw them out. Israel is a menace on the earth right now. They're just doing what they want to do. They bomb who they want, say what they want. They blaspheming the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They follow the Babylonian Talmud, and they use the scriptures from the King James Bible, from our book, to justify what they're doing. And this shit doesn't like it, and it doesn't line up at all with one another. This is the dirt and the wickedness of Amalek and how he gets down, man. Check this out. What's the scripture where he says, I will have war with Amalek? Exodus 17 and 16. And it reads, for he said, because Yahweh hath sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. This is the time we're in now. This is the generation. Really, these are the last generations of all the nations. These are generations that are set up for judgment. I heard Elder Apostle Ramlov say there's so many people on the earth because it's set up for judgment. Let's get that scripture. Preserved for the day of the Lord. Preserved for judgment. Let me see. What's up, brother? How you doing? All right. This is not what I wanted, but I'm going to get the scripture too, right here. This is, then I'm going to get that scripture. This is Psalms 37 and 28. For Yahweh loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. It's crazy because I can hear my, as I'm speaking, I can hear my voice echoing. But let's get that other scripture. What's the scripture where it says, people shall be preserved for the day of judgment? Let's see here. This is not the one I wanted, but I'm going to read it anyway. It's not a bad one. This is 2 Peter 3 and 7. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So what is that saying? They're saying that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is preserving spirits to be destroyed by what? Nuclear fire. And this and the people that's going to be destroyed will be 2/3, and all you heathen nations who Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is not going to preserve, that they go into slavery. Because what's going to happen is this. When the day of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, when judgment day comes, right, you're going to have a lot of, not a lot, but you're going to have all 18 nations, there's going to be an elect. It's going to be elect for kings and priests, which are only Israelites, northern and southern kingdom, right? And then there's elect for slavery, which are the other nations, the other 17 nations who are going to go into slavery, because we have to keep those nations going, because the scriptures talk about after 1,000 years of servitude, we are going to run up all the Edomites and get rid of them, and we're going to allow the other heathen nations to go into their lands, and they will serve us continually, and they will learn the laws, statutes, and commandments, and they will do it, and this whole world will be in a righteous harmony, right? That's the true unity, right? After all these things are done, that's prophecy. Because right now, Yahweh Bashan Yahweh Shai has us out here preaching until it's time for us to be taken off of these highways and byways. Because after that, Yahweh Bashan Yahweh Shai is going to allow total chaos and destruction to take over, so that Esau can get his MOTB NWO off, which will lead into WW3, which will lead into the final battle, baby, which is Yahweh Shai coming down with his angels, not off of the ship, but those chariots coming into this atmosphere, being wholly visible, because they showing themselves, and Esau can't do nothing about it. So he's really losing sleep, and he's putting in overtime trying to figure out what can he do, and all he has left, because there's no more lying, is his violence and those weapons that he has made to think that he's going to fight against Yahweh Shai and the angels and against his own personal enemies. I don't necessarily want that. I'll bring this out real quick. It's worthy. John 8:32. When I say it's worthy, meaning that, it goes with what I'm talking about. But John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Like I was saying about the law, statutes, and commandments, we're going to teach it to the rest of the nations. It says, Psalms 119, 142, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is truth. So this is going to be everlasting. This is going to be forever. Yahweh Bashan Yahweh Shai's words will live forever. And all nations are going to learn it. What's the scripture where it talks about all nations will learn? Man, I remember just, coming into this truth in Yahweh Bashan Yahweh Shai. put into my spirit, um, I want you to go out there and teach. Man, I was horrified. I didn't know. Go, first of all, Koholo Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem B'Kakadash. Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahweh Shai. Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh, Allahayanawa Yahweh Achad. And so like I spirit was on me just to say that. But I was frightened, man. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get out there and, you know, and embarrass myself and embarrass any the brotherhood or anything like that in doing this work. And you know, I just continued to study, man, and you know, when the spirit was on me that I had enough vital information, because I continue to learn as I go. But when I had enough information, it was to go out and just, you know, you preach that, you know what I mean? And I didn't deviate from that. I stayed with that, what I had and what I understood, you know? And I would just find different ways, or through the spirit would give me different ways on how to teach certain points in the scriptures that I learned from the elder apostles on down the Great Millstone. And I would stick and I would continue with that and stay with that. And to this day I do. But you know, the Lord has gradually given me more, because I prayed and asked for more. So that's what you do, man. You want more, you pray to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And he will fulfill that. You know, if he's dealing with you, you know, it'll come. And before you know it, you're there. You know? So, you know, I just want to thank Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for that, because, you know, I never thought that I would be doing something like this. And this is something that's the greatest of anything that I could be doing in my life. You know, I've always wanted to do this or do that, and, you know, try your hand at trying to get into sports, entertainment, and I wasn't bad in those categories of those things, but that's not what the Lord wanted for me, you know. And I would always wonder and be kind of like worried if maybe, you know, I'm just not fit to be anything other than what I you know, I was, which was nothing. I mean, I'm still nothing. It's just that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai bestowed on me the gift to come out here and teach, you know, to learn, to read, you know, and that's the greatest gift that I could ever have. You know what I mean? I'm very thankful for that, very grateful for that, and you know, I don't take it for granted. Any and every time that I can get out, I do. If I could teach another brother, northern or southern tribe, I will. You know, if I can convince them and get them to understand